I'm Eric Willis, the director of Robinson Cook, and today we will be discussing Title IX and the Clery Act. Title IX is a federal law that prohibits discrimination on the basis of gender. It wants to ensure that men and women both have the same academic opportunities to succeed. This means that Title IX impacts higher education, education for pregnant and parenting students, their learning environment, standardized testing, employment, and sexual harassment. You have a big role in implementing Title IX on our campus because you are considered under the law to be a responsible employee. A responsible employee is someone who has the authority to take the action to address sexual harassment, who has a duty to report, or other types of misconduct to appropriate officials. Once a responsible employee has received notice of any misconduct, the school must take immediate steps to investigate the incident. They must also take action to stop the harassment, help the remedy of effects, and prevent harassment from happening again. Notice of any sexual misconduct can be actual or constructive. Actual notice is when the university receives a report of the occurrence, and the constructive notice is the point when the university should reasonably have knowledge of the misconduct. All of this is to say that you are a responsible employee. As an RA, you report alcohol, noise, and damage violations. One of the categories for a responsible employee is someone that a student could reasonably believe has the authority or responsibility to address sexual misconduct and harassment. Because residents see RAs in authority position reporting various violations, they could also reasonably believe that the RA has the responsibility to report sexual misconduct as well. Sometimes it can be hard to know what to look for, and more importantly, what to report. A good acronym to remember is PPTV: pattern, predatory, threat, and violence. Maybe you notice a pattern of sexual harassment or overhear a resident talking about how their ex-partner won't stop following them around campus. Or maybe you hear an argument in the lobby which a resident is threatened or has gotten physical. All these are cases in which you have the responsibility to report. If the conduct is severe, persistent, or pervasive, it is important that you report as soon as possible. This goes for any type of sexual misconduct or interpersonal violence. To report an incident, you should get in touch with Dr. Emily Coleman. In addition to being our Vice President of Student Services, she is also our Deputy Title IX Coordinator and handles all Title IX investigations pertaining to students. Listed here is her contact information. The best thing you can do is write this down somewhere or put it in your phone, so when you're placed in a situation, you do not have to wonder about who you need to get in contact with. You can also get in contact with your RHD if you feel unsure or uncomfortable about a situation. Your director is here to help you and to make sure you feel safe in doing your job. But it is important to remember to keep possible Title IX violations private out of respect of both parties involved. This does not mean that you should keep it a secret, but rather you should not gossip or discuss the matter with friends or even other RAs. Remember that it is our job to report, not to label. Reporting and responding parties are terms that we can use to avoid words with negative connotations, such as victim or accused. These are also neutral terms that help remind us to stay unbiased as we observe and report. Sexual harassment can be defined as any unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, or any other verbal, nonverbal, or physical conduct of sexual nature. It also falls under the umbrella of sexual misconduct, which is defined as any conduct of sexual nature that is non-consensual or has the effect of threatening, intimidation, or coercing a person. This can also include sexual violence, relationship violence, or stalking, because sexual misconduct is a form of sexual-based discrimination, which means it falls under the Title IX. It may seem like a difference between privacy and confidentiality. It is not that important at all, but in some cases like these, it is a crucial distinction. You do not want to violate the trust that the reporting party has placed in you, so you should make it clear that what he or she tells you cannot be in confidence or a secret. It is important that they recognize that you will keep the matter private and that you will only tell those who need to know in order to investigate the matter fully and to help he or she access any resources that they may need. This means that you should never discuss the matter with any of your friends, co-workers, or classmates The only person you should share this information with is Dr. Coleman. The conversation you may have with the reporting party should be handled very gently. It is important that you let the reporting party know that you believe him or her. They have placed a lot of trust in you by coming to you and speaking with you. It is not your place to question or challenge what they are sharing with you. You can also inform the reporting party of his or her rights, which are found in the student handbook. You want to reassure the reporting party that there are solutions available to them and that they are not on their own to remedy the situation. It is best if you avoid any sort of commentary on the situation. It is unnecessary and could make the reporting party feel less comfortable with sharing with you. Sharing your knowledge of Title IX reporting process, though, can reassure the reporting party, as they may still have hesitations about speaking with you. The Office of Civil Rights requires that universities do several things when they know of a Title IX violation, all designed to help create a fair learning environment for all students. First, universities must investigate all reports of Title IX violations. Next, they must measure to stop the misconduct from happening. The university also has the duty to engage in remedial support to help those who may be dealing with the aftermath of a traumatic experience. Finally, the university has to take action reasonably to prevent the misconduct from ever happening again. This has to be done promptly, fairly, and effectively. Title IX is the law designated to make sure universities and other schools are places where all students, regardless of their gender, can thrive and succeed. It is really important to remember that Title IX is the law, and we have to treat it that way. This is not just a ResLife policy or university policy. It is the law to report any sexual harassment and misconduct. It is the law to take measures to correct and remedy sexual harassment and misconduct once the notice has been received. Title IX investigations are not like court cases. During the investigation, university officials are not building a case against the responding party like a prosecuting team in a lawsuit would be. They are just gathering facts and doing so in a neutral, unbiased, and objective way. There is no burden of proof for a prosecutor to meet. Unlike the courtroom where a defendant is innocent until proven guilty, all scales are equal. This means that the investigation is just seeking to learn the actual events of the case and whether or not there was a breach of Title IX. One thing that you may be uncertain about is when and where Title IX applies. Some examples of when it would apply would be if a resident came and told you about misconduct that happened to them, if a resident tells you about misconduct that they saw happen to someone else, or if you witnessed the misconduct yourself. This goes for whether you hear about the information when you are on duty in a professional setting, or if you are just sitting around campus in a casual setting. Title IX also applies off campus as well as on campus. The effects of the misconduct impacts a student on campus in a discriminatory way. There are lots of reasons why people do not report sexual harassment and misconduct. Understanding these reasons can better help you support those who do come forward and can be encouraging throughout the process. There are many fears, apprehensions, and anxieties that surround coming forward about sexual misconduct, and we are in a powerful position to help those who may be feeling hurt, embarrassed, or unworthy. Remember that as an RA, you have the responsibility to report sexual harassment and misconduct. But you are also in a unique position to shine light in the lives of your friends, co-workers, and residents. You can make a difference by creating a narrative of respect and kindness that can encourage those who are nervous about reporting sexual misconduct to feel secure, believed, and trusted. You are responsible for reporting possible Title IX violations. It is not your job to determine whether or not it is a Title IX violation. When in doubt, report. It never hurts to inform Dr. Coleman about a possible Title IX violation and to let her make the determination as to whether or not the school has the obligation to step in. We want everyone at UC to feel welcome, safe, where they live and learn. You play an important role as a responsible employee in making that happen by reporting possible Title IX violations. The Clery Act is another federal statute that you should be familiar with. In 1986, a college student named Jeanne Clery was raped and murdered by another in her campus dorm. Before her death, the university had gotten reports that the auto-locking doors at her dorm were being propped open by residents. After Clery's death, her parents believed that the university had underreported an escalation in the crime on campus and had failed to take appropriate security measures that could have helped prevent the incident from happening. The Clery Act was subsequently passed, a federal statute that requires universities to publish a public annual security report to employees and students, which include crime statistics, policy and procedural information regarding crime reporting, campus facility security and access, and response to sexual assault, dating violence, and stalking. The Clery case is a powerful reminder that we are in a privileged position to maintain security in residence halls and report suspicious behavior.